Welcome to episode 2 of In The Loop. In this episode, IA publisher and co-owner Gary Robinson meets Mike Coady, CEO at Skybound Wealth Management, at their Dubai offices.
Mike, thank you for inviting us to your salubrious offices in the sky.
Always a pleasure.
Skybound in the sky, very, very, very nice. Tell us, for somebody that doesn't know anything about Skybound, give us the nutshell. What is it that it does, and what's your role within that company?
So Skybound is a multi-jurisdictional financial planning firm that looks after expatriates while they're away from home. Typically we're in the major distribution markets, so US, UK, Switzerland, across Europe, Middle East, shortly opening in some of the Asian territories as well. Joined back the company just short of a year ago as part of the leadership team as the CEO. And then during that last 12 months, we've been working on lots of really exciting projects, many of which we've launched, many of which are coming shortly.
It does seem to be an upwardly mobile company. What is the ethos around Skybound, and what is it that you do that's different to the rest of the marketplace?
I think every company out there suggests that they do things vividly different. I think in reality, most financial advisory companies do the heart of what their advice is very similar. Yeah, we meet clients, we try and do the best by our clients, we try and look after them for a long period of time, we have great relationships with them. I think where certain companies stand out is their commitment to client service, their ability to look after clients in lots of different jurisdictions, whether that be in the short term because they have assets in different locations, or because they move to different countries or repatriate back to their home countries. And the big area of focus for us in the last 12 months has been our tech, both in terms of internal advisor components, okay, and also how does our consumer enjoy and benefit from our tech play.
Is that being driven by the consumer or the advisors? Because it does seem that we're in a world where instantaneous mobile apps and being able to see everything that you've got in one place, watch you go up and down every 5 minutes, and we wake up every morning and wonder what Trump's done today, But no, the point being around the technology, who is it driven by?
So I think if you look at what a DIY investor would do, or some respects, a new level of competition, whereby people have the opportunity to go and trade themselves. And I think there's always a big difference of an understanding what does your advisor actually do? If, for example, you believe that your advisor just buys an ETF, there will always be a route to buy those cheaper without the use of an advisor. Yeah. So for us, technology is all about our end-to-end process. So it starts with our profiling teams, it moves through to our advice teams, our ongoing support through to relationship, and ultimately with our consumer in their consumer app. But most of our objectives are driven around efficiency. So we believe over the coming years, advisor costs will come under a spotlight. And we believe the best way to counter some of those cost conversations will be around efficiency of our ability to give advice quicker and more efficient, being able to profile and give significantly more value in much more consumed level of time.
You mentioned costs and charges. What's the charging structure like under? I'm not saying specifics, but are you looking? Are you purely fee-based? Are you a hybrid, or are you?
It will depend on the product matrix and product jurisdiction, and also client residence. So for example, in some jurisdictions, a fee-only model, US, UK, Australia, is an obvious one. In other jurisdictions, we work with many of the big private banks, and some of those private banks will pay our fees on behalf of those. The most important thing for a client perspective is all of those charges are disclosed, and the consumer understands, are we working on a transparent basis? Are we working on a non-transparent basis? But if we work on a non-transparent basis, a client should understand what we get from that bank or institution.
Yeah, good answer. It's interesting. The 2 points I want to pick up on. First one being that client service being at the heart of what you do, and one of the reasons I'm here today with my Investment International hat on is to congratulate Skybound Wealth Management on 4 awards at the I Awards 2024 to 2025. So well done.
Thank you.
3 of those were around client service. So you won the the regional award for excellence in client service for the Middle East. You won the award for the excellence in client service for the rest of the world. But most importantly, you won the global award as well. How proud does that make you feel, given the undulations of the industry? You've been around for 20 years plus, and how proud does that make you feel that the company that you're at the head of is picking up awards like this?
Lots of companies, in my opinion, take some solace from being large or having the best performance or having the most number of advisors. I think in reality, at the very heart of what we do, client satisfaction, client service, client happiness, that client journey has to be and should be at the very heart of everything that we do. And in many respects will feed the rest of the journey. So for me, client service is about touch points. And one of the things that we've worked very hard with our technology is to make sure that our clients have a significant number of touch points throughout the year, some passive, some very active. From a technology perspective, it's extremely cheap to give clients touch points, such as the app, such as through our Salesforce programs, such as client journey interventions. So again, it's nice to see the recognition of all the hard work, but 100% is at the very heart of every decision that we make.
That's good to hear. And of course, you also picked up the II and IA, first time II and IA had ever got together.
Yeah.
At the time, we put it out to the IA readers as well as the II readers because, as we've spoken about, my company, G&M Media Limited and Money Map Media, we took over those two brands. It was really nice to put them together and let the readers decide. So you picked up the II and IA Readers Award for Company of the Year. How did that make you feel?
It's good. It's good. It's nice to know that we have readers in lots of parts of the world. Obviously, you can be, number one in the Middle East or number one in Europe. The fact that we have that global recognition, forms really part of that ethos that we have, that we want to serve clients, expats, wherever they are in the world, wherever they plan to go in the world, or wherever they have assets in the world. And with licensing, that's extremely hard to do this day and age. And it's one of the reasons why we're pushing forward with expansion, we're pushing forward with more licenses, and hopefully over the course of the next 3 to 6 months, we'll be able to announce some significant new partnerships and ventures.
Looking at, first off, looking at that within the Skybound framework, what's coming down the tubes, what can you tell us, if you can tell us anything, and how's this year looking? How's things looking for?
Yeah, this year's looking good. Figures are good, but figures is only one part of the business. Yes, we have shareholder responsibility, we have business responsibility, but at the same time we have client responsibility. So, one of the things we're working very hard on is being better. That includes all of our infrastructure. So again, one of the things that we've done a lot over the last 9-10 months is look at every touch point of our business, look at every operational type of efficiency, making sure you get that interdepartmental coherence. And we've made some significant upgrades over the course of the last 6 months in particular, with a whole stack of upgrades coming in the next 6-12 months, which ultimately is attractive for our advisors, makes it easier for them to give advice, to find new clients, to work successfully with those clients, to go up against anybody in the marketplace and really be seen as the premier or one of the premier providers of expatriate financial advice.
Now, thanks for the answers so far. I want to talk about the industry in general. Let's talk about the Middle East. The Middle East, in general, seems to be thriving. It seems, everywhere you look, there's new buildings going up. You hear about, with the changes within the UK, this exodus out of the UK over to the Middle East, and it just seems to be getting bigger and bigger. And it's like a snowball, isn't it? That started off at the top of the hill,
yeah,
and it's getting quite sizable. Do you think that the Middle East is? I'm not going to ask you a question directly about regulation, but how concerned are you as a member of the industry that there's still companies slipping through the net, and there's still companies that are having difficulties, and there are clients that are losing money or having funds frozen?
as a company that's regulated in lots of significant jurisdictions, US, Europe, UK, and also as a very active advisor. I'm active from the UK perspective. I'm registered and regulated by the UK, by MiFID in Europe, and here in the Middle East. So I deal with lots of clients all around the world. You would always get that regulated and non-regulated element to financial services. The most important thing that clients do is they keep, focused on regulated advisors, good regulated advisors, ideally multi-jurisdictional regulated advisors. And if you've got offers of 10, 12, 14, 16% as an annual return, it would always raise or should raise your awareness levels. But these problems are not new, they're not old. They will persist in generations to come too.
It's at a time where this industry in this region, really sort of seems to be getting its act together, and just this has raised its head. Anything else that's happening? You're here on the ground. You've been in Dubai for a number of years now. How many years is it now?
20.
Fantastic. 20 years in Dubai.
Yeah.
Good God. When I first came here, it was like a quarter of the size that it is now.
Yeah.
10 years ago, and it's even big. It seems to have grown in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
Since I was over in here last year. What is it that's keeping you here? What do you love about this region?
Listen, I love Dubai. I've been here a long time. I've tried to leave. It's hard. But also when I came here 20 years, the landscape of financial advice has changed. When I came here, I came as a qualified advisor from Barclays. I knew what good advice looked like. I worked in a firm, very large firm, and over the course of those years, there probably wasn't a depth of talent in this particular marketplace. And in some respects, the UAE advice market, had some challenges in those early years. But I must say now that the depth of quality in terms of not just advisors, but the depth of quality of financial advice companies, we often refer to the competition, but in many respects, the competition is of a very high standard. I could reel off 6 or 7 names of very good firms now, that I'm proud to call competition. We still want to compete against them. We still want to be better than them. We still want to win more awards than them. But I think the financial services landscape in the market in the UAE, whether that's central bank, ESCA, DIFC, is of an exceptional quality now. And there's a lot more choice for consumers. Consumers still need to be conscious. We looked at things like the 79th Group and others. But I say in the main, I think the advice market in the UAE is strong now.
Absolutely. Mike Coady, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for talking to us here on In The Loop podcast. So thank you for that. And we look forward to seeing you at our events coming up in London and in Dubai later in the year.
Pleasure.
Thanks for watching and listening wherever you get your podcasts. Join us next time when Gary meets the team at Titan Wealth International. Until then, why not hit follow to be the first to hear our latest episodes? And we will see you next time on In The Loop.